everyone. This is Dark Lily with Zen Kitty Studio. Today I'm doing week 2 of Oiltober. And if you're not familiar with Oiltober, it's really not a big thing in the art world. It's just something an oil painter came up with at one time. And it's based on Inktober. Inktober was created by a graphic designer who decided that, he set up this program where people have a challenge on social media where you do a painting or a drawing every day in your sketchbook, a completed drawing based on prompts that he would set up or someone else would set up. Like one day it might be dreams, another day it might be skulls, and another day it could be just whatever you interpret as happiness or scared. And so people come up with their own concept. It was a cool thing to do. I tried it a couple years back, but I didn't make it through. Always wanted to do this Oiltober. And that is based on an artist named Lena, L-E-N-A, Danya, D-A-N-Y-A. She's on YouTube. She's an oil painter, and she did this for 31 days in October about 3 years ago. And I've always wanted to take this challenge, so this year I decided I was going to do it, and I've been doing it pretty steady. Today's is number 8. That would have been Sunday, October 8th. And yeah, I am a little bit late with this, but as I have to wait for some of this stuff to dry, and I do fiddle with it a little bit, so to fix things. But yeah, this is day 8. It's from a photograph that I found on Pixabay, or no, Paint My Pictures. Paint My Photos. If anybody's looking for reference photos for painting, Paint My Photos, they're royalty free. And it was a beautiful picture, and I just loved how the turquoise blue of the water contrasts with the brilliance of the fall leaves. There was a birch tree in the middle, in front of the tree with the foliage, but the birch tree didn't have any leaves on it, and I painted it in there, but it just looked weird. So I painted over it, so I had to wait for it to dry. So that's why it's a little late. But if you know me at all, you know I absolutely love fall and the colors of fall. And I take photographs and do paintings of a lot of fall foliage. So here we are with Oiltober, day 8, October 8th. And the next one, day 9. This is Cana Island Lighthouse. If you know me, you know I love Door County. I think last week I did one of the causeway, the little waterway that you go through on a trolley, and they have a tractor that pulls a wagon with seats. And I did a photo of a picture. I did a painting of that from a photo I took. Well, this is from a photo I took of Cana Island Lighthouse itself. Dan and I were there a couple of years ago, and there's a lot of people there, so you have to wait to go up the winding steps to get to the top of the lighthouse. And we had the dogs with us that day because we were camping nearby. We couldn't leave the dogs alone in a trailer. It's too hot. So took them with, and one of us had to stand outside with the dogs while the other stood in line to go up the lighthouse stairs. So it was a couple-hour wait here and there between the two of us, but it was fun. And we sat outside. It was a beautiful summer day, July, in Door County, Wisconsin. And my nephew, Nate, loves lighthouses, so I may give this to him. He's a lighthouse. He likes to collect lighthouse stuff. So we will see. That is Cana Island Lighthouse in Door County, Wisconsin. And it's day 9. Day 10, I decided to go a little bit freer instead of a photograph. This is just from my imagination. It's a gnome. It's not Santa Claus. The gnomes are short, And I'm part Norwegian, so I like gnomes. It's a gnome up in the North Pole, or northern Norway or wherever. Anyway, I had done a pastel drawing of this similar to this last fall, but it didn't turn out as well as I liked. It was okay. And I had the cats. I had 4 cats in that one, but I made his legs too short in that one, so it looked a little off. So I wasn't real happy with it. And decided, well, I'll try doing an oil painting of a gnome. I love gnomes. So here we are. There's a gnome and a mama cat and 2 kittens. And gnomes are short, of course. So, yeah, the cat looks bigger, but that's because the gnome is a short little thing. I had fun doing it, and it's just pretty much freehand out of my imagination, so. And I think I need to work on cat faces. I'm not real good with that. That's something I can aspire to. But, yeah, it's okay. For, you know, just a one-day painting. I spent, well, you're supposed to only spend a couple hours on it. I probably spent more than that because I painted over stuff. The cats were hard. The cat faces were harder for me than anything. But, yes, there's day 10, and I had to wait for that to dry for quite a while. Because with white oil paint, it just seems like titanium white. It takes forever to dry. It takes days and days and days. I didn't want it to be too wet when I was doing this and have it get smeared. So there you have day 10. Now, day 11 is from, oops, it's sliding off. I said, I don't know if I mentioned I'm inside today because I tried doing this outside and stuff was blowing. These are canvases are light, and so they were blowing on me and the dust was bad, so I thought, well, we're gonna have to do it in the house. So here I am in the bedroom with the door shut. This is the lizard from a picture on my phone. This little guy sitting there warming himself on a rock. He had the most beautiful tail, and it did have those beautiful kind of teal stripes. Now, it's really hard to get pictures of lizards here. We see them everywhere. They're all over. But as soon as you step outside, you'll see a movement. You'll see something scurry away, and it's a lizard. They're so fast. They're like a little bug. And he must have been about 12 inches long. But anyway, I figured I'd do a lizard because I live in the desert. And I like lizards. They're cute. And here he is. Turned out okay. I could do more work on it if it was a bigger one, you know, add more detail to his back, but I guess the main focus for me was that beautiful tail. So that is day 11. And day 12, I did another freehand one. I love painting glass bottles, especially like blue cobalt. So it's a little, there we go. It's not straight. There, sorry about that. And so this was just freehand. I had this paper already colored with orange, with kind of a yellow-orange background. I had done that. Sometimes when I have on my palette, I have leftover paint. I'll take something and just paint a swatch, you know, like paint a background layer, like tone a painting, tone a canvas, and then let it dry, and then later on I can just grab it and do a painting on it. And that's what I did with this one, so I didn't have to wait for the yellow to dry before I could work on the bottles. And that's bittersweet in the green bottle. If you live in Wisconsin or in the Northwest, Northeast, you probably know what bittersweet is. It's really brilliant orange berries that grow alongside the road. You see them everywhere in the fall. They're very bright. And like I said, I love painting bottles, cobalt blue. And I love pumpkins, so I just kind of did this freehand out of my imagination. You know, the composition was just me doodling. Kind of doodling with a paintbrush. But I love the glass. I love how the glass turned out. So that was day 12. This one is on paper. This is that Arches oil painting paper. And it's a really good quality paper. It's textured kind of like, oh, I don't know if you can see the texture. It's kind of hard for the thing to focus. It's textured sort of like watercolor paper, but it's primed for oils. And it's Arches, which is, if you're familiar with oil painting, Arches is a very expensive brand of paper for watercolor paper. And this is oil paint paper, so I thought, well, I would try it. And I really like the way it handles. Really do. It seems to take the paint very well. It's prepared so that it will do that. And at the price they charge, it's got to work because people aren't going to pay for it if it doesn't work. So that's what this one was on, and also the lizard. And the other three were on the canvas, like I talked about. It is Belgian linen. You can see that it is linen. There is a weave. And it's primed for oils. And that's what this one was on and the ones before it. Now, day 13. Whoops, that one doesn't want to stay up. I'll just hold that one. This one is from a photo that I got on Paint My Photos. And it's a statue in a garden. And it was kind of brown tan composition. It's got a few flowers in the background and an orange bush. And I just thought, well, that's kind of good to practice. It is good to practice like a monotone colors. Where you do, I think they call it grisaille, where you're just using one color. And this is burnt umber, actually, dark color. It turned out fairly well compared to the photo. It did. It's a statue, so it's not going to have a lot of high detail, but yeah, I like it. It was a challenge, but I like it. From a photograph on Paint My Photo. So if you're looking for photos to paint, paintmyphoto.com is a good place to go, or photos to sketch. So the last one for this week, day 14. This is from a photo I took of cactuses in bloom back this spring. And I have to tell you, these pink flowers are just stunning when you see them in bloom here in Arizona. And yeah, they are really that pink. They are just like a fuchsia colored, hot pink, Barbie pink. And then they have the little kind of purpley pink, they're like little knobs. They're not, well, they do have prickles, but I'm talking about these little dots. Those are like little bristly, tiny bristles that have pickers in them. So you don't want to touch them, but yeah, they're dotted all over the cactuses. And that's what they look like. So, yeah, I just love this cactus. Not necessarily the painting of this cactus, but, I took a photo of it in our park where we live, and they're beautiful when they bloom. So I will have some more cactus paintings for you too coming up in the next week. I think I have at least one more. So this is week 2 of Oiltober. So this would be October 14th. And I know I'm behind, but I will have another video coming for week 3. They're pretty much ready to go. And then we've just got week 4. And let me tell you, this challenge, it has been hard to do a painting every day. Even though they're small, they're 4 by 6 inches. It is hard because life gets in the way, I had to take the dog to the vet twice this past week. We had to take him one day and drop him off, and it's a half-hour drive to get there, and then you got to wait. If you've ever been to the vet, you take your dog in and you sit, unless it's an emergency. You sit and you wait for 45 minutes to an hour before they call you in for your appointment. And so they're always behind. And so then there's that, and then there's driving home, and then I get home and I'm tired and I got to make dinner. And I was like, oh, okay, missed that day. So had a few days where I missed, and then the next day I had to double up. But that's life. So, but it is helping me, I think, with my painting. It's helping me to get more acquainted with oil painting, because up till now I've been sort of a dabbler, even though I've been to college for art. I've been sort of a dabbler with oils. You know, I'd paint for here and there and not really do it seriously, except when I had oil, class where I had to do an oil painting. You know, we had to produce 2 paintings a week, but that was like 16 years ago. So since that time, it's like, oh, I'm going to oil paint for a while, and then I put it away and don't do it for a year or two. And now I want to really focus on it, because I love oil painting more than watercolor and gouache. And I want to get good at it. And in order to get good at it, you got to do it more than just dabbling here and there. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to force myself to paint and get more familiar. And I'm learning things. I'm learning how to build up paint and how to get more contrast, with lights and darks, and focus on the shadows and and where the light's coming from and things like that. So anyway, I'm kind of babbling, so I better quit it. I better stop now, because you don't need to hear all this. But anyway, this is my journey for oil painting, and it has been fun. But I'm also looking forward to November 1st, where I don't have to get up and do something. I don't have to make a painting every day. So we'll see if I can continue to paint daily, if not every other day. But this is Dark Lily saying peace out, and I hope you join me next week, and hope you're having a wonderful Sunday afternoon. So have a great day.